have you played every single one of these?
Well, let's. I haven't played Oracles of Ages and Seasons. I've only played like a minute of it. So if we both haven't played it, we can throw it in that.
I do want it to be we agree on a spot, right?
We're already recording. Have we started?
I've hit the record button, but I'm not gonna start. Fine. We'll do,
we gotta say
this
hi
one.
and everything. Yeah.
I just figured it'd be fine. Whatever. Okay.
You can't just start a tier list with shit already in tiers.
But if it's in haven't played, I feel like that's self-explanatory.
You still can't fucking just do that, though. People be like, well, what about
God
those?
damn
like,
it.
We didn't even talk about
Fine.
those.
What? Well, of course we haven't! We haven't played them! This is staying in. Hey, everybody. James wanted to do a Zelda game tier list. We're just doing the mainline games.
Hi.
We're gonna come to a consensus agreement, so this isn't gonna be
consensual.
Shut up. Okay. Do we want to go in like release order here?
I usually just go in a horizontal line.
Okay.
From left to right.
I don't want to do that because that starts us in fucking Four Swords Adventures.
I mean, you can reorder if you want. I just have one question. I don't really care about the order.
Wait, where's? Okay, never mind. I'm actually dumb. Go ahead.
What about games? Okay, so first of all, just because I've played a game doesn't mean I've completed it.
I think I think if you've played a game, you can give an opinion, but it'll weigh more on the other person.
Yeah. Right, there's gonna be games here that I've like played extensively enough that I feel like I could speak on them.
Right.
In fact, just pretty much one game that's like that.
But neither of us have played either of the Oracle games, yes?
Yes, we can get that out of the way. We haven't played. I've only played like a minute of one of them. I'd like to play them.
Are these on the Switch?
Yes, they got added not long ago.
I will probably play them then.
But they're both like these are meaty Zelda games, and there are two of them. So
we'll come back to this maybe after that.
Those fun fact, those are expensive on the Game Boy. They're like
I fucking bet.
dollars.
I really hope they remake them someday.
I do too. They remade Link's Awakening and it was really good. Oh, another rule. I say this doesn't have multiple versions of the same game, so I say we just think about the best version of the game. For instance, we're rating the 3DS version of Ocarina of Time, yeah?
Yeah, and to, like, honestly, I think we can just roll it into one and just say, like, we like this elements of this version.
I'll mention if I'm specifically talking about, but, okay. I do want to at least start with the first Zelda, and I'm putting this bitch in D tier. That's what I say.
The reason the reason I think you should not go in in release order is because I think that's gonna pretty heavily influence your grade of the games.
Okay.
Like, because if you go from the original Zelda to like Breath of the Wild, there's obviously one that's like better.
Yeah,
you know?
That's fair. Okay, so
but you know,
Four Swords Adventures.
I guess we could base them on the context of like how we enjoyed it when we played it.
No, not Four Swords Adventures. That's
just regular Four Swords.
This is just regular Four Swords. Fuck. I have played this, but I don't remember shit about it.
There's nothing to remember. I'm going to assume
Four Swords Adventures was the one that was on like the DS, right? Like it had that limited time thing.
Four Swords Adventures is Nintendo GameCube. That's the multiplayer one.
Okay, so it was this one that was okay.
Yes, that one was it started as. So when Link to the Past got re-released on Game Boy Advance, Four Swords was released like as part of, you know how the Mario Advance series had like Mario Brothers, so it's like that. And then they re-released it standalone, a definitive version as a DSiWare, and that's most likely what you played, right?
Yes.
All right, that's what I played too.
What's the name of this game?
Four Swords.
Four Swords?
The Legend of Zelda Four Swords, yes.
It's not a Link to the Past Four Swords?
So that that's the bundle on GBA, but we're specifically talking about just Four Swords.
That's what I was explaining, is they remade A Link to the Past for Game Boy Advance, and then Four Swords came with it.
I liked this game.
It was good.
It was fun. I can put it in like B.
You know what? I think we should come back to this one. because it's a weird one to start with.
A Link to the Past is a perfect place to start.
Yeah, because Four Swords doesn't really have a story. Like, it does have one, but like, very basic, very simple Zelda game. So let's go back that one.
I think A Link to the Past has aged almost as gracefully as Super Metroid. It's one of those SNES games that you can go back to today and still go, oh, this is just a very legit video game to play even now. Like, I'm just having fun. Same as like Mega Man X or any of those like really renowned, bigger video probably being made one day, but I think real video games started in the 16-bit era.
I don't know if I'd agree with that, but
there's some NES games that are still that good, like Mega Man 2, Castlevania 1.
Yeah,
they're there, but I think just games as we know them.
Yeah, like meaty experiences.
Yes, exactly.
And I would happily agree. A Link to the Past is like legendary for a reason.
I want to put it in A tier.
God, without being able to see all the tiers at once, it's throwing me off.
It's exactly what you think it is.
I'd have to agree. Because obviously, like, over time, there's been other Zelda games that, like
this one,
in the context of their release, are like just so much more expansive. But I like this one's really good for a reason. Like, I agree.
What was the game you just graded?
That was A Link
to the Past on the SNES. There hasn't been an updated version, not really.
Yeah, I would say the original is still pretty definitive.
It's still,
you can emulate it, it's fine.
So worth playing. Now, A Link Between Worlds came out on the 3DS. For the in 2013, it seems. Yeah, I think this is, objectively speaking, without biases, without beautiful summer memories, I think this is the best Zelda game.
Ooh, I wouldn't say it's controversial, but you know, there's always gonna be people who have their favorites.
I mean, there's a lot of people who just haven't played it, but
having played it very thoroughly, I almost, you know, there was that secret giant cuckoo thing. Aside from that, I 100%ed it. And I would say this is very easily like top 3 Zelda games. Like, I don't know if it's what I personally think the best, but
so we're cool with putting it in S at least, right?
I think it deserves S. Yes. Ricky, for context, this one was originally intended to be a remake of A Link to the Past, and ended up becoming a sequel.
And they went fucking crazy with it, bro. It had so many innovative ideas. Yep. You didn't unlock items through the dungeons. You just bought them at a store, and you were drowning in rupees in this game. So the second all the items become available to you, you can just get them. And that opens up the entire world for you. Like, this was Breath of the Wild before Breath of the Wild, really.
Oh yeah, Breath of the Wild, a lot of Breath of the Wild systems like were inspired by this one. This is the first good Zelda game that lets you freely explore the world.
I really, really, really hate when people say, oh, it gotta ruin dungeons because you don't get to unlock an item. No, bro, you get something better. You get a permanent upgrade, like you get bigger damage or bigger defense or something in dungeons now. Like, it's... I like it way better when... Whatever, that's its own video probably one day.
I know we should get on, but I do have one complaint I forgot to bring up, which is that the game is incredibly easy. Like,
it's a tad easy.
It's
better. It's better when you play like the Master Quest, but it's still not like.
Yeah, but you only unlock that post game, right?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
But even though it's a really easy journey, I think it's just such a worthwhile one. You know.
Absolutely. All right.
Fucking Christ, Breath of the Wild.
Let's see Breath of the Wild also. Let's save Breath of the Wild.
Ransom. I see an issue.
What's the issue?
I don't see the Zelda CDI game anywhere.
We're not.
Well, those are a given S. You know, like we don't even have to.
They're also not mainline.
Well, they should be. For the cutscenes alone. Which I think you should include at least one of them.
So, I actually have not played Four Swords Adventures.
Okay, we need to see if we can play that for the channel at some point.
That might be an LP,
because I'll speak on it because I have played this. I don't remember if I finished it, but I got pretty far for sure. I grew up with this version. I played it multiplayer once or twice, but mostly single player. But this is a sequel to Four Swords, but on a console. Really, it's built on the skeleton of A Link to the Past. Like the world design is different, but like the whole soundtrack to this game is literally just remixes of like Link to the Past. But I mean, it's a multiplayer Zelda game. Like it's first of all, it's still a regular Zelda game. But it's multiplayer. Like it's really cool. Very fun. It's very fun. It has that new Super Mario Brothers thing where you can throw your friends around, but since it's not a platformer, it doesn't get in the way. And there's a lot of cool sequences. So
this game was on GameCube.
Yes.
It's definitely one of the lesser played Zelda games. Not to mention the English version removes a whole mode, which still bothers me to this day. But if I were to, and it also has the best incarnation of Dark Link. If I were to rank it compared to all those Zelda games, it might be probably a B, to be honest.
I will just sure.
Mostly not because of the quality of its story or anything, just because it is very unique and fun in what it tries to do.
These are subject to change, by the way. We can change.
Yes. If I'm like, never mind, we can go back.
So Link's Awakening, I'm counting both the original and the Nintendo Switch remake, which I played, and I had a really good time with Link's Awakening, man.
It's so good.
What does the egg? I've always been confused about the egg on the title screen.
It contains a big fish.
Actually, though.
That's good enough for me.
I think it's I like it more than A Link to the Past. I think it's my second favorite 2D Zelda.
It's difficult for me to compare them, but I played Link's Awakening DX on my 3DS, and I also played the remake on Switch. Personally, I'm one of those weirdos who likes the original a little more, just because I feel like it was designed around that little 3x4 screen. And like the scrolling screens. But yeah, at the very least, I would say it's like 1-to-1 with Link to the Past. Like, not only did they fit all that on the Game Boy, but like it has a story that has like themes and depth. It like makes you think. And it's just really charming. And it's got a great soundtrack too. Like, I don't know how they did all that.
By the way, I say we order these. Because it's so few, we can order them.
That's fine.
Which, there you have it. Oracle of Ages is better than Oracle of Seasons. The opinion coming from people who haven't played it.
Yes, the definitive final take.
I want to put... I'm fine with either in S below A Link Between Worlds or in A above A Link to the Past.
Well, for judging by the definitive version, or our best aspects of the versions we liked, I think I would personally... Wow, I really don't know if I like it more or less than A Link to the Past. But I wouldn't put it in S.
I'm fine with putting it top of A.
Alright, I don't have any complaints about that.
Fuck me, Majora's Mask, dude.
Man.
Can we do Ocarina first?
If you want to. Did you play either of these games on 64 by any chance?
Yes, I completed Majora's Mask on the Nintendo 64 as like a late teenager. I ordered a copy off of like Amazon.
Huh.
And then 4 days later they announced the 3DS remake. I am not kidding.
So I'm assuming you played Ocarina on 3DS first.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Now, I'm purely judging by the 3DS version because it is the objectively best version of Ocarina of Time.
Right. Wait, just to clarify, did you play Ocarina on 64 at any point?
I've played it through both the real thing and emulators and like Nintendo future products like the Wii.
So you've got a lot of experience with this then.
I don't know if this is a controversial opinion. I don't think it should be. I think Ocarina of Time has the best pacing of any 3D Zelda game.
I don't know if maybe. But God, having these two next to each other at all. Okay, let's start with this.
It's the only 3D Zelda I can just boot up and play. I could never ever just boot up and play Twilight Princess or Wind Waker. It's just not that kind of game. It's a commitment game. Those are commitment games. Ocarina is like, I boot up the game and within 5 minutes I'm in the first dungeon, and it's just, you can be so proactive in this game, you know?
I see what you're getting at, especially with it doesn't have that long intro segment. I see.
And I don't think it sacrifices very much story to make that happen either. I think Ocarina still has a wonderfully done story.
Well, heck, here's the thing. Ocarina, just to clarify, I played a little bit of the 64 version, but I'm not a fan of its graphics. I loved the 3DS version.
64 Ocarina is piss ugly and runs horribly.
Yeah. What's funny is a lot of what works in Ocarina was just built off a Link to the Past.
It's true.
It's literally just 3D Link to the Past, but they perfected it in a lot of ways. Say what you will about like the 3D design, but like a lot of the music that we love comes from Link to the Past, but it's just better in Ocarina. And then you have things like Gerudo Valley. I mean, come on.
Fuck, where to actually put it though?
I mean, introduction to Ganondorf. Yeah, that's a great question. I would personally put it in S. I think it is better than Link's Awakening in my opinion.
I need to think.
I don't know if it's better than Link Between Worlds. That's a different question. But for me, it's undoubtedly an S.
I would actually put it below Link's Awakening, personally.
So, question.
Oh.
Yes.
In what game are you first introduced to the races that you see in like Breath of the Wild, like the rock people?
Each of them.
Ocarina is the true answer. Because like, A Link to the Past has Zoras and stuff, but like Ocarina is very much the Zelda game that became the new basis of the rest of the series.
Yeah, your Gerudo, your Gorons, and your Zora are mainly, as we know them, are introduced in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
And then the Koroks and the Rito are from Wind Waker.
There's also like Ocarina's Legacy we can consider, I guess, which is like,
I honestly don't want to.
I don't want to do that, but I do just want to say out loud, like, when you look at games released around that time, before it, you look at Ocarina of Time and you're like, this is the first video game of its type. Like, this is the first, what a lot of people would consider to be real video game.
Yeah, I'll say this real quick, because I don't think we need to talk too much about like the perspectives people have had over the years, because there's so many people think this is the best game of all time.
Because if we did, Ocarina would just immediately be top of S.
But we do need to talk about the legacy of like its game design, because like you said, there's nothing like it at the time. There's nothing even comparable though. Like, so many systems we use in games today came directly from Ocarina of Time. They didn't exist before. The Z targeting, like, that's from Ocarina of Time. Like, they invented it for that game. It did not exist before then.
Like, Dark Souls is just hard Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, if you've played an RPG, whether it be Western, JRPG, whatever you want to call it, like, it was probably almost definitely inspired by Ocarina of Time. Your developer or developers have played Ocarina of Time and were like...
I think I've been swayed and can put Ocarina bottom of S right now.
I fully am fine with that.
Alright, Majora's Mask.
Ooh, man. I only played the 3DS version. I know some people like the aesthetic of the 64 one more.
I've only played the 64 one.
So there's a couple complaints people have about the 3DS one.
Yes.
I'll air them out real quick. I don't disagree
Just
that
go
the
watch
aesthetic...
the Narelle video.
I've seen it. You should link that in the
I will
discuss whatever that's called. But
description.
I don't disagree that the aesthetic of the 64 version is a little better. Like, it definitely works more. But I wouldn't say like you shouldn't play it on the 3DS for that reason, because the quality of life stuff in the 3DS version is so good. Like, it is. I literally would not have played it any other way.
But there's a few things that I do think the 3DS version genuinely gets wrong.
There's a couple quirks I know about. There's like some weird gameplay stuff, but it's nothing that impacted my experience.
The main point I want to get across, I guess, is 3DS version of Ocarina. What's the word? Objectively the best version. Majora's Mask, it's not objective. There are pros and cons worth considering on both sides.
Right. And in this case, though, I guess we're talking about the best of both worlds. And if we're just ranking Majora's Mask in general, what we like about it.
I want to put it in the exact same spot as Ocarina of Time. That is actually how I feel about it.
Majora's Mask isn't like expanding on Ocarina of Time. It's like it's built on it, but it's going in such a unique direction. And like, honestly, for a while there was my favorite Zelda game. Like, it's got all the works of like something like a Link's Awakening, but the foundation of Ocarina of Time. Like,
I appreciate it for those things, and I love its tone. I search for Majora's Mask's tone everywhere I go. I love it so much. But it's just not.
It's the Nightmare Before Christmas of video games.
I guess we can just fuck. We can we can do this. Yeah.
I am totally fine with that. In fact, I think I just agree with that.
When we get to the other 3D Zeldas is where things might get a little hairier. So, Original Zelda. I hate this game.
Okay, so I actually completed the game not that long ago. I actually played through the whole thing. I did use save states.
And it's still in D.
I think there is one game worse than this. I almost don't want to put it in the same tier. I kind of want to just put this in, like, C tier.
Which game is worse?
You know which game is worse.
No, I don't. Which one?
Zelda 2.
Oh. No, they're the same. Like, sure, it's worse, but like...
Okay, let's go ahead and do the both then. I played through Zelda 1, and after... I watched a good video on it by Pariah, what's his name? This guy who does all the Sonic videos. And he made me deeply reconsider the appeals and the structure of Zelda 1. And it changed my tune on it, and I ended up playing it. And while it didn't change my life, it completely reframed how I think of the game. I actually do think it's a good game now, whereas I used to hate it like you do. It's a whole discussion though. Like I can see what they were going for on release, and I'm very impressed by it.
I see it too. I agree, and well, I'll definitely. I'm doing this just because I'm gesturing to the two games. I'm separating them because I do, just like on the Switch, right? I'll boot up Zelda 1 just for the fuck of it, right? I never do that with Zelda 2. No one does that with Zelda 2.
So,
yeah.
I don't know if y'all know, but there's a mod for Doom 2 called Legend of Doom that remakes the entirety of Doom 1, or of Zelda, the first Zelda, in the Doom 2 engine.
Oh, I've seen that. Really cool. It's awesome. Phantom Hourglass. I haven't played this. I also haven't played Spirit Tracks. Those are the only games I haven't played.
Hold on, I had one thing to add. I mean, I guess Zelda 2 is self-explanatory. I just want to say real quick, that game's got cool systems, and other games that have tried to replicate it have done it better. If you added more save points and made the dungeons less tedious, that would be a D, but it's a really bad game. Anyway, yes. So Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass, right? I played both of them. Phantom Hourglass is. I just want to clarify, none of these remaining ones are bad games at all. But Phantom Hourglass is mid. There's no way around it. It was their first attempt making a fully touchscreen Zelda game. Yeah, I think that's a good spot for it for now. We might lower it to D later, to be honest, but for now, I think that's good. It's their first attempt, and they made it like fully touchscreen. Like, you move around with a touchscreen, you slice your sword with a touchscreen. The aesthetics are a little odd, even for the DS. But the story it's nothing life-changing, but it's like the connecting thread between Link's Awakening and Wind Waker. I guess I don't want to spoil the story if you haven't played it, but it's basically Link's Awakening in another timeline. Like, it's
weird. I never do that.
Yeah,
I just don't care to play the game. I'm sorry.
It also introduces Linebeck, which I guess he's only in Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass, so you wouldn't know him. But he's a very likable Zelda character who I wouldn't mind if he comes back in future games. I'm honestly surprised he didn't appear in Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild in some form. It's kind of like how Bruce hasn't come back despite him being such a likable character.
Question.
Yes.
Tingle.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
What
I
is
would.
that
That.
from? Which game is that?
First game he's from is Majora's Mask.
But his most
he's
well-known appearance is probably Wind Waker.
So he's in multiple games.
He's in multiple games, yes.
I see.
He is the guy of all time.
Is he important to the story in any way?
No.
If
No,
he died,
never.
would the story be different?
No.
He is more important than the main character. He might as well be God, you know. Anyway.
Can you go ahead and rank Spirit Tracks?
Yeah, so we had one more thing to say.
Oh, no, go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
No, it's say I don't want to talk about Tingle anymore. The main crux people will talk about with Phantom Hourglass is instead of having a bunch of, it does have its own dungeons, but the main core of the game is it has one big dungeon, and you have to repeatedly go into the dungeon, go as far down as you can, and then get an item, leave the dungeon, progress the story, and then go through the entire dungeon down to where you went again, and then farther below, and you keep doing this.
That doesn't sound very fun.
Yeah, you have to progress through this, like, I think 100-floor dungeon, like 10 floors at a time. It's tedious. I won't say it's bad, but, like, you having to replay segments over and over of a dungeon, it's with, like, no interesting aesthetic. You could see why it's in mid-tier.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Spirit Tracks is a sequel to Phantom Hourglass that improves on it in every regard and is actually one of the best Zelda games.
One of the best?
Actually one of the best Zelda games, and that's despite being fully touchscreen controls. Now, when I say one of the best, I don't mean top 3, but like certainly better than Four Swords Adventures. Like,
so do you agree with this? Is this okay, or do you need it higher? Because I am hesitant to put it.
I need to scroll down a little. Let me think about this for a second. Is it higher than? Scroll down a little more. I need to see the other what's left. Wow.
We have like every 3D game left.
Well, I'm just realizing a lot of these are going to be in like
Yes.
BS and A tier, right? Like, yeah, like these are all amazing games. So, obviously I don't want to put too many things up at high tier, but the Spirit Tracks really is just really good. I say we can keep it B tier just because not only is it fully touchscreen controlled, locked to one system no one can access, but also I mean, depending on the system you played it on, in my personal experience, I played it on 3DS, and like the microphone controls just did not work. Like it was really rough. But the gameplay, the story, it has the best incarnation of Zelda.
I have heard that.
Okay, maybe like equal to like Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom version, but like pretty much the best incarnation of Zelda. And the most Zelda like does in a game, like holy crap!
Mm-hmm.
Like she's practically playable in it. The music's amazing. I'm amazed they don't remix the soundtrack to that game more. And even the train system, which looks stupid on paper, is like really cool. So I'd say for now, yeah, high B tier.
All right.
Almost A tier.
For the sake of non-linearity, let's do Twilight Princess.
All right.
So controversial, possibly. I'd put it just below A Link Between Worlds here. Like, I did say Ocarina is paced better, but I think I think Twilight Princess is the definitive 3D Zelda of that style, you know? Like, obviously Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are their own thing, but of the, like, Ocarina, Twilight, Wind Waker games, I think Twilight Princess is the best one.
I love Twilight Princess. I grew up with it. Like, I think its world is perfect. And I would definitely put it in S tier. We can already take it up there if you want.
Okay, but then
So
we'll move it as needed.
But, you know, there's valid complaints about some of the characterizations. Like, no one cares about Ilia, or whatever her name is.
That's fair.
I think the world is awesome, but there's no reason to explore half of it after the first time. Like, you get your items, you never use them again.
But when you take
like a couple hidden chests and whatever.
When you take it as just a linear adventure, it can't be beat. It's so good.
And I agree, but Zelda games, especially, we're comparing it to S tiers, right? We can't just think of it in that way.
Okay.
We have to, from multiple perspectives. And when I think of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, when you get items and you go into the field, you're able to use them and do things.
Not in
like
fucking Ocarina, bro. What are you talking about?
I agree. That's why I'm trying to decide if it's above or below Ocarina.
I'm okay with this. Above Ocarina, below Majora.
I'm fine with that. I don't have.
I'd prefer this, but I can compromise.
Yeah, see, I think I personally like Twilight Princess more than Majora's Mask, but do I think it's better as a whole?
Probably not.
Not really, and that's unfortunate.
I'd still like if I were to
as a cinematic experience.
If I were to recommend a Zelda game between the two, I'd hit Twilight Princess first.
Absolutely, I think as an entry point, as a cinematic experience, as an adventure, as a musical experience, I think Twilight Princess is better. But in every other regard, Majora's Mask beats it.
Minish Cap. Have you ever played this?
I have completed it.
I have only played it on an emulator. But I liked it. I liked it a lot. Yeah, I liked it a lot. Capcom did very, very good.
It is very good. How do you think about B tier?
I want top of B tier.
Okay, do I like Minish Cap more than Spirit Tracks? Because you're asking me Link and Ezlo versus Link and like Zelda's characterization in that, and the things that happen in the story and the gameplay. I don't know. I don't know if I would put it above or below Spirit Tracks. You said you wanted above Spirit Tracks, but you haven't played that, and for me,
that's fair.
They're both really good. Ah, man.
We should have like brackets to show when two games are equal.
I know, right? God. Can I think of negatives? I don't remember a lot of like some of the dungeons.
It has been years since I've played Minish Cap. I do need to play it again.
I'll say this. I'll put it on this. My complaint about Minish Cap is the Kinstone Fusion thing is kind of dumb. But my complaint about Spirit Tracks is its dungeons are less memorable than Minish Cap's. Minish Cap has some cool dungeon ideas.
It does.
And because of that, I think as a video game, I'll have to say Minish Cap only very, very barely can go above Spirit Tracks for me.
All right.
Also, I think we can agree that like the concept of turning small is more interesting than driving a train around, right? Regardless of fun.
Yes, I was actually going to say, I think some of these games, like Link Between Worlds, Minish Cap, they have just a general gimmick in their gameplay.
Yeah.
And Minish Cap is one of the better ones.
I think Minish Cap's like gimmick, it speaks for itself. I don't have to explain to Ricky.
Link Between Worlds, too.
The world, you're tiny.
In a Link Between Worlds, the main gameplay gimmick is Link can turn into a flat object against any wall. And that just, that makes 3D space so fun to interact with. It makes the puzzles really cool in a Link Between Worlds.
So he turns two-dimensional in a three-dimensional world?
Yes.
Yep. And so you have to think about how like walls connect to each other and like how the entire world is laid out so you can traverse in 2D. It's so cool.
It's really cool. It's just they made it fun to do. Like it's very responsive, just flattening yourself into a wall. But like even at a conceptual level, it's so fun. Like some games I'm like, that sounds like just a chore for my brain, you know? But Link Between Worlds is like, oh no, I want to play with this. Okay, non-linear, let's see. Breath of the Wild.
By the way, it's raining here. Can you hear me alright?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Breath of the Wild. You want to do Breath of the Wild before Skyward Sword?
Yeah, because we're being very out of order for Ricky's sake. Because he insisted, because he was just begging.
I think it's for the good of the video and the goddamn list.
So
you want to save like Tears of the Kingdom for like last or something? You know, let's not save it for last. Let's do second to last.
Okay. So I don't know. So Breath is S, right? Like we can just.
I agree.
But is it above or below A Link Between Worlds? I don't fucking know. This has been a debate in my head for goddamn years now.
So something I generally have to consider with some games is how replayable are they, right? I can pick up and just start Link Between Worlds over again.
And Breath, you can never play it again.
Like, I want to pick it up and, like, my thing with Breath of the Wild is I want to keep playing, but, like, I have to remember where I was, what quests are left, but I don't want to start it all over. I mean, you can sometimes for the challenge of it. You know, can I start the game and then immediately go to Ganon, but first I have to do the long tutorial, you know? and it's not hard. It's not unfun. But would I say it beats Link Between Worlds in that regard? I don't know. But man, the quality, the music really is undersold.
The problem for me in Breath of the Wild is I have such a hard time separating the game from the first time I played it, right?
Yes.
Which I don't know if that's like...
And the trailers and...
I don't know if that's being like inobjective, you know? I don't know if I'm being super subjective and biased through that, but it's like... This is one of my last like magical gaming experiences, you know?
At risk of sounding like a hypocrite, you remember when we talked Twilight Princess and Majora's Mask, and I was like, you know, I do have my personal favorite, but like as a game, I think Majora's Mask is better. It's still got the elements I also like in Twilight Princess, is why I was allowed to say something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Breath of the Wild, I think, is an amazing game, and I personally, on most days, would probably put it at the top of S. But I'm thinking, like, as an enjoyable experience with memorable things that you like, just... Who is your favorite character in Breath of the Wild? Do you care about the 4 champions?
None of them.
Like, Rivali has an interesting design, that's about it. I like Zelda's incarnation and Link. The story is not there. There's, like, one good cutscene. You know, it's all flashbacks. It's all flashbacks. The world is very cool to explore. I love the Guardians. But you know what Link Between Worlds has? Remember that witch girl? Wasn't she cool?
Remember, I forget his name, but remember the purple rabbit man?
Ravio.
Remember Ravio?
Link Between Worlds has Ravio. Link Between Worlds has the witch girl I can't remember the name of. She's so likable. Link Between Worlds has... It's got... I hate Yuga. She's awful. It's got Hilda. Like, it's got characters, it's got elements.
It's got characters, it's got a story, and was still an insanely open world Zelda game.
Yes, if Breath of the Wild had characters I cared about, it would be...
It'd be S of all time.
It'd be S in a second. But because I don't care about the characters...
Breath is it's missing so much.
Yeah, now the dungeons are really good. I think they're undersold. I actually really like the dungeons.
Yeah, people who complain about the divine beasts, they're just dumb.
I don't have any complaints about breakable weapons, and I love, again, people I'll skip past that whole conversation. People complain about this game having no music, but its soundtrack is incredible. I got the soundtrack, and like it's just so listenable. There's just so much good stuff in it.
Now,
but
there are some good complaints about this game, though. Like, shrines only having one visual design, it gets really monotonous. You know?
Yeah. So there's a lot of little tedium, and a lot of the appeal is the world and atmosphere, and not the story and characters. Whereas I don't feel like Link Between Worlds has that issue.
I feel like this is where we're headed, honestly.
Yes, that's where I'm pushing, because
I'm pushing that too.
Almost every aspect I would say is above, but it's just not in the right spots.
All right, 4 Swords.
4 Swords. This is, and you said you played this on DSi or 3DS,
yes, I did.
right?
And it was really fun. I'm feeling B, like probably right next to 4 Swords Adventures. Yeah. Yeah,
it's definitely a better game if you played it with friends, but a lot of it's not memorable. It's got cool bonus content, the post-game stuff.
Yeah, it's a cool game. It's really cool.
Yeah, but also how you progress in that game is by like getting lots of rubies, and you have to like replay stages.
So do you not have to do that in Adventures?
I don't believe. No, you don't. You just play levels, and it ranks like which of the players got like the most points or whatever, most try pieces, whatever they're called. So I would, at the very least, put it top of C. I did enjoy it more than Phantom Hourglass.
I am just cool with this right here, where I put it.
I'm fine with that, but I'm also worried like we'll have a bunch of stuff in B. No, we probably won't.
I don't think there's anything else going in B. What you want to hit first, Skyward Sword or Wind Waker?
We'll see. We'll come back to that. Let's get Skyward Sword out of the way.
Okay.
Let's save Wind Waker peak for last.
Now, Skyward Sword. I am not a hater of Skyward Sword.
Oh no, we're about to have a talk.
I'm not a hater. I'm not a hater.
I'm not a hater, but I'm not a lover.
My motion controls worked fine. Like I said, when you take it as it is, I don't think it's perfect. No. No. I just... No. No. Because I look down at A, and I see Link's Awakening and A Link to the Past, and I'm like, you belong here, actually.
Yeah, I was about to say, there's no way you're convincing me of this. Okay, now we can talk. Now I'm not gonna fight someone. So let me be very clear about this, so there's no miscommunication. I very much enjoyed the game. I played it on the Wii. I thought the motion controls were good. I thought people were insane for not liking it. Soundtrack, amazing. I like the dungeon design, Ancient Cistern. Music, the dungeon design, the character's pretty good. I like the synchronization of Link and how expressive he is. I like Groose and Zelda, and I'm not huge on him, but he doesn't have.
It's truly the opposite of Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, and Girahim, like, yeah, exactly. They focused on some of the right elements, but good lord, I don't care about the world design. I don't care about most of the other characters or NPCs or just like groups. I like the little leaf, the little plant-looking guys. Those are great.
The world is a dungeon kind of feel of the game is exhausting.
It's exhausting, dude. Flying is exhausting, even without motion controls. Like, okay, so I played it on Wii with motion controls, and you're having to like flap your freaking. You're having to like shake the thing and like move the thing just to fly around this huge barren, empty nothing. And then without motion controls on Switch, you're just sitting there watching your bird forever. And God forbid you run into a rock just barely, or you're trying to go through a speed up tunnel and you hit the side of it, or you're in a race or a mini game or some crap. Having to go back and forth between just the only two important areas in the sky, being Skyloft and the Pumpkin Place, because there's just nothing else that matters at all. I'm sorry, I cannot. Again, like, I'm fine with linearity, especially if it's a good adventure. But man, visiting the desert 3 times, like visiting the volcano 3 times, even if one of those is a really cool visit, like a third of the game is being in a desert. Like, I don't, maybe 3/10. Like, I don't like it. I'm sorry.
It's not. That's fair. That's fair. I
cannot for the life of me put this in A. Now, it is still a good game, and I would say it goes somewhere in B. But A, no.
But its story is so good, and its combat is so good.
The combat is pretty good. I like it with both with and without motion controls. I like the combat.
I just think.
But listen,
I think it's harsh to put it in B, but I also I'm like, do I really want to put it next to Link's Awakening? Not really.
Is the story really that good? I liked the Zelda Spirit Tracks more. I liked the story of Minish Cap more, and it's got good moments. Don't get me wrong. I love the whole ending sequence, even though Demise kind of isn't interesting.
The game does just have harsh flaws.
There's huge parts that just kind of suck. Five, however you want to call her, I like her, but like, there's a lot of times she's not interesting. And then like,
I think I can do it. I think I'm okay with this.
I can accept it.
I'm not putting it lower than that.
I think I might even put it below Minish Cap, to be honest.
Well, we'll just keep it there.
So he's like, no, stop convincing me to put it lower, because you know I can. I can keep naming things you didn't like.
Tears of the Kingdom. I have complex thoughts about this game. My main thing is...
We can both agree to the last. Okay.
It took what was good about Breath of the Wild and made it better, but it didn't improve on what was wrong with Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, it didn't improve on the things that mattered.
Like, the things... Because Breath of the Wild comes out and its story is ass and all of its cutscenes are via flashback. And it's like, damn, that sucks. But, you know, they're figuring it out. You know, how else do you do a story? Then it's, 6 years later this game comes out? And it has the exact same problem. And I'm so much less charitable towards those problems. Because I'm like, dog! We could have had, like, this really cool story. Like, I like the story that's in the game. I wish it was just in the game and not via, like... it really, really sucks that the game has the same problems the last one did. And like its biggest contributions are in gameplay system mechanics and minor improvements to the previous systems. Because I don't think the Sky Islands and the Depths are as big a deal as Nintendo was hoping they were. Especially the Sky Islands. Jesus Christ.
For me, the actual appeal of the game is the depths, and I feel like the Sky Islands were almost just a what's the word?
Afterthought?
A distraction. No, like a distraction. They were like, here's the thing, and then you play it, and it's like, oh, that's not the thing.
Yeah.
I feel like if they put in the title like Zelda in the underground world and like all of the aesthetic was like underground stuff, it wouldn't have been as appealing looking. And I love the depths. I thought they were freaking awesome. Like maybe after lighting it all up and stuff, I love the depths. Okay. Exploring it, finding it by accident and exploring it was magical.
So,
but you're right. Like the Sky Islands, man.
I'm feeling this. Right.
Oh, I did not expect you to do that. I genuinely thought you were going to put it below Breath of the Wild.
I'm trying to be as objective as possible. And the thing is, Tears of the Kingdom is just a better video game than Breath of the Wild.
We just made a big F.
What?
The tier list is just a big F.
Oh my god, you're right. But like
Tears of the... It's just kind of a fucked up E if you scroll down.
Yeah, I know, but we're ignoring the games we haven't played.
It's my thing is I'm never gonna boot up Breath of the Wild again.
I don't agree. I was in fact I've been thinking about going back to Breath of the Wild just so I can like try the DLC and maybe experience it for the first time again. Because now that I've played Tears of the Kingdom, listen, we played sequels to Zelda games in the past, and it didn't invalidate like the originals. Like I do want to go back and actually play through Breath of the Wild again. Maybe not as in depth as before, but it can still be a new experience. You know,
the games have the same flaws, but
yeah,
Tears of the Kingdom has a better story than Breath of the Wild. It has better characters than Breath of the Wild. Yep. They're not good, but they're better than this one.
It has more interesting little dungeons and mini dungeons and stuff.
Exactly.
We do need to talk about the incredibly long, tedious intro.
Breath of the Wild has a better intro, though. It has a better beginning.
Breath of the Wild is a much better intro.
But that's like the only thing it has on it.
Yeah. I feel like I'm forgetting something.
Oh, you know, Breath of the Wild does also have Hyrule Castle.
Well, Tears of the Kingdom has Hyrule Castle also.
But not the set piece of Hyrule Castle.
The
final siege of Breath of the Wild into the castle is fucking awesome. Tears of the Kingdom, it doesn't have an open siege. It has a linear like.
It still felt like I'm fighting like deeper and deeper into this like abyss of just like hell. Like again, and
I like it. I like it.
The farther you fall. I see what you mean though. To me, it's not a big difference. So.
But then the final boss is so bad in Breath of the Wild, and it's way better in Tears of the Kingdom.
It's so much better in Tears of the Kingdom.
And the final gameplay moment of Tears of the Kingdom is genuinely like a really good moving moment. You know, it sticks with you. But it's
I don't know. I guess my only complaint with Tears of the Kingdom is that the gloom hands. My only complaint about Tears of the Kingdom really is just that intro segment. Like it's so bad. Like I genuinely think it's not just mid. I think it's actually bad, and like I think it's a detriment. I see people streaming Tears of the Kingdom and they are bored and they don't want to continue the game because the intro is so long.
Yeah, I can't believe they fucking fumbled what they already did in Breath of the Wild. Like is.
Yeah, I think they were a little misguided in that, but I wouldn't put it below Breath of the Wild for that reason. I think I'd have to agree with this placement. Right. I just wanted to think through all of that before really deciding on it.
Now, James, I don't know your opinion on Wind Waker, so let me put it somewhere, and then we'll talk, okay?
Okay. Put it where you think it should go.
Hold on. That's not it. That's not it.
Wow, okay.
Wait. That is it. That is where I think it should go. Just below Link's Awakening.
So just to clarify, which version or versions did you play?
I played the Wii U one.
Okay. And you got the Swift Sail?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I did everything right. I just still think...
I just wanted to make sure we took that into account, because I know one of the bigger complaints is it's the same thing I was saying with Skyward Sword earlier, where you're flying through nothingness forever. I could see people saying, "Oh, I have to explore the whole ocean so slowly." It's like, okay, I know.
You're still exploring the whole ocean with, like, very little happening in between.
Yeah,
I think
there's
Link,
battles.
I think Link
enemies,
feels weird to control in this game.
So I'm gonna be biased. This is probably my first mainline Zelda game.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a lot of nostalgia for it. I've played it on GameCube and Wii U. Did all the side content. I've fully experienced the game. I love it very deeply. I would very easily put it in S. Definitely above Link's Awakening. Holy crap.
Don't get me wrong. I love the game. It has strengths that no other Zelda has. The art style is still... Well, I guess Breath of the Wild is as good, but it has a forever-lasting art style. It's probably the most charming Zelda game. It has one of, if not the best depiction of Link and Ganondorf.
Yes.
But
knowing these things, I can't put that below Link's Awakening at the very least. Can I convince you of the...
Yes. Yes,
okay.
I can be convinced of this.
But here's where I'm work from, because I think its soundtrack is on par with Twilight Princess's. I think its art style is one of the best in the series. I think its depiction of Link and Ganondorf... Heck, I think Ganondorf's depiction in this is equal to the Tears of the Kingdom. I think it's just immaculate. I think Tetra is an amazing incarnation of Zelda. I think it really did the King Hyrule thing that Breath of the Wild did first. Like, his whole character's from that game. I think the sea is fun to explore. I think it's better than the sky. Like, there's actually islands I want to go to, and rewards for going there. And there's not like 5 of them over a large expanse. It introduced Beetle. I mean, it recharacterized, brought back Tingle in a way people like.
Let me say something. My favorite things about Wind Waker are all, you could say, superficial. Their graphics or their story. Well, story isn't very superficial.
But for you, the gameplay isn't the thing.
I prefer the pacing of Ocarina, and I prefer the dungeons of Twilight, and I prefer the open world of any of the other 3D Zeldas.
So I can't speak much on the world. I do like the islands of Wind Waker, but I'll be the first to say, like, aside from like Windfall and outside islands, there's not a ton to do to like explore and like wander. But I think its dungeon design is at least on par, and this is from someone who's played it a few times. I think it's on par with Twilight Princess's, even though there's a few less. And then its pacing, yeah, I can agree.
I definitely disagree. I think Twilight Princess clears dungeon design wise.
I just can't agree with that.
Bro, the fucking Temple of Time?
Yes. It's got amazing... They both got amazing dungeons, though.
Like, I'm not gonna call Wind Waker's dungeons bad, but, like...
I mean, they're good dungeons. I mean... which one? The Earth and, like, Sky Temples, or whatever they're called in Wind Waker, are, like, some of the best in the series, in my opinion. Like, the one where you have to use your mirror shield, like, even more than how it was used in Ocarina of Time. Or, what was it? The freaking grappling hook. Is that what I'm thinking of? Yeah. Like, grappling hook. Very good. But for me, I think objectively, probably Ocarina is better, but for me, Wind Waker's definitely S tier. And it's not something I can question.
I can do this.
You can do this?
I'm fine with that.
It's not gonna bother you fundamentally?
Bottom of S, I can totally... I'm chill with that.
I can accept this list.
Alright. Well,
I did not expect Link Between Worlds to be at the top.
But, like, other than it being easy, like, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, it's kind of like
it's just kind of perfect.
Like, perfect. Yeah. Wow. Think it'll get a Switch port? We'll see.
God, don't. Please. I mean, if we're talking Switch ports, bring fucking Twilight Princess and Wind Waker first.
Dude, please. Oh my god, Dude, just port all of them.
All of them. Just do what you did for Mario. There's like every Mario is on Switch. Just do that for Zelda. It's free money. Come on.
Zelda's more popular than ever now. Like, Tears of the Kingdom is selling insanely well. Just put them all on Switch.
Well, yep. Here's your screenshot. Here's your Flaccid Entertainment Zelda tier list. This can go back and forth, especially if we play these games and replay a few of them, like Minish Cap, because I haven't played that in fucking forever.
This is the objectively correct.
It is. Best I mean, A Link Between Worlds is #1, so that just proves it right there, really.
Yes. It's like how many are in S and like B tier.
Do we want to reorder anything?
I'm looking now.
Because I could put like Link's Awakening above Ocarina, but I won't.
Yeah, go ahead and put Skyward Sword in D tier. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, I could be convinced to put Skyward Sword and Minish Cap in A tier.
Nah.
You don't think so? Below Link to the Past?
I'm good.
Okay.
I think they're where they belong.
Yeah, I don't. I think Phantom Hourglass is its own tier. I think Zelda 1's its own tier. I think Adventures of Link is terrible. Yeah, I'm fine with this.
All right, we good?
Think so. Ricky, you have any thoughts?
Yeah.
You're the ultimate decider.
I mean, from my knowledge of Zelda, there should be an extra tier
for the
above S for the CDI game.
That's a given. You know, we don't even have to. Every viewer knows this. You gotta add it in. Please do CDI games.
There you go.
There we go.
There it is.
There we go. The gold standard. The true Triforce of wisdom is
That's
in
right.
It's just interesting to me that y'all say that there's only one bad Zelda game, and it's it's Zelda 2.
You know, it's really funny. Usually sequels perfect on the originals and are better. You know, but not in movies, like in games. You know,
back in the day, they just didn't do that.
Yeah, that game was just bad.
Back in the day, if there was a #2 on the game, there was zero guarantee that it would have anything close to the same gameplay.
Mario 2, Zelda 2, like
Metal Gear. Well, but that wasn't a real. Never mind.
Yeah.
What was it? Revenge of Solid Snake or something like that?
Yeah.
The Snake Return, something like that.
Revenge of Snake, I think.
But then you get Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, the actual sequel, and no, it's like a real sequel.
Minecraft 2 will break the trend.
I'll ask this. You can include it in the video or not, but how much do you think nostalgia influences where you've put these games?
0.
Well, we tried to take that into account.
That's fascinating.
A lot of our best, like Tears of the Kingdom, just came out. You know, Breath of the Wild.
Literally the only game here that might have that be an influence is Breath of the Wild, but I still think it deserves to be where that is objectively.
Yeah, and for me, the only ones here that like I played as a kid and I know nostalgia has biased me is Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, but even then, like, I think they're up there.
Well, I mean, I would say up until you're like 16 or 17, like you still. I have nostalgia for shit I played when I was that young.
Oh yeah, there's some of these I'm nostalgic for, but they didn't affect where I put them.
I personally think I'm quite good at looking beyond that.
Plus Ultra.
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like if you played from a strictly objective position.
So I think I have a good reason for why I feel so confident about objectivity in these critiques and stuff. Is because, one, I was a little kid at the time of playing some of these, the ones I would be nostalgic about, and I was really bad at video games, and I never actually beat them or anything. and I went back later on. It varies from where later on, but I went back and played them again for real for the first time. And then I went back again as a grown-ass man. For like a lot of games, like let's say I go back and I play Crash Twinsanity. And I'm like, oh, this is not as good as I remember. And it's just, that is it. I now have a definitive opinion. I like Crash Twinsanity. I think it's quirky and charming. But its gameplay, it shows that it was rushed. But then I go back and I play Kingdom Hearts 2. And I actually like it better than I did before. Because I'm like, oh, when you play it on the hardest difficulty, using the mechanics,
it's a good game.
It's like even better. It's fucking awesome. It's like one of the greatest games of all time. So I go back and pretty much equally I find a surprising amount of joy and disappointment. Like I got my stack of PS2 games over. I'm looking over, and I'm like, I'm nostalgic for almost every single one of these, but I'm just going ass, 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 fine, ass, 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 okay, good music. I bought that when I was 23. Ass. Like,
you know what? Ricky's right. Nostalgia's really blinded us, and we made a terrible error of judgment. We really should put at the bottom Skyward Sword. You know, it really.
I was actually looking at my PS2 games, but like I was looking at each individual one and saying what I actually thought. We got Over the Hedge, Wallace and Gromit: Curse of the Were-Rabbit, Nicktoons Unite, Avatar: The Burning Earth. I had a lot of licensed game as a kid, but didn't everyone?
I never finished Nicktoons.
Fairly Odd Parents: Shadow Showdown. That one's really bad. Shrek
Ricky,
2.
if you want to see people nostalgically biased for these games, you just go on Twitter. Like people will tell you, like full stop that like Skyward Sword is the single best Zelda game, and it's not even close. And like people are just exaggerating.
It is actually insane.
Ocarina of Time original for the 64 is the greatest game ever made, and there's nothing. In fact, video games made nowadays aren't even fun. They're just not the same anymore. You
go and look at these people, and it becomes so clear that it is just actually, this was good because I was happy as a child, and I don't enjoy this thing anymore because I'm not happy as an adult. But the things I liked as a child, those will forever be good because, well, then their train of thought stops there because they don't actually give it any critical analysis. But
yeah,
it's just the other day, like yesterday, I saw someone say, "No, all 3 original Jurassic Park movies are goated, and all the Jurassic World movies are horrible." And it's like,
did you watch anything?
Dude,
past the
and
first
that guy got so many replies. It's like, dog, you are not gonna sit here and tell me Jurassic Park 2 and 3 are like good movies. And he's like, no, they're for real goated, bro. I mean it. Like, you got the San Diego shit in 2, you got this stuff in 3, but no, Jurassic World, that's all just trash, man. It's all trash. And it's like, you're a disturbed human.
So, fun fact, I don't know if y'all knew this, you probably do, but there are only 8 games that IGN has rated a perfect 10 out of 10.
How many of them are Zeldas?
4 of them are Zelda.
4? I thought 2 or 3 maybe.
Which, can I guess which 4? Can I guess which 4?
Yeah, you can guess.
Ocarina of Time.
Definitely.
Tell me yes or no.
Yes.
Skyward Sword.
Yes.
Really?
Breath of the Wild.
Yes.
Of course. Tears of the Kingdom, probably.
Is it Tears of the Kingdom?
Or Link to the Past.
Yeah, dude, I fucking nailed it. Wow.
I did not expect Skyward Sword. Wow. Well, it probably because it's so good.
2 of them are Metal Gear games.
Which ones?
Really?
Which ones? I want to know so bad.
Revengeance, both of them. Metal Gear 3 and Metal Gear 1.
Neither.
Like Metal Gear Solid, to be clear.
2? Did they give 2 a 10?
No.
Okay, I was going to say, based? IGN not being stupid for... Okay, 4.
Metal Gear Solid 3 has got to be one of them.
It's not.
What?
Really?
Which ones are they? We just said, like, Peace Walker?
Guns of the Patriots,
That is 4.
and The Phantom Pain.
Okay, 5 being on there.
5 is not.
How did they get 4 or 10? Don't get me wrong. It might be,
Neither of
but
those games are 10 out of 10s. That
but
is insane.
IGN giving it a 10? What?
The other two on the 8. One of
Wait,
them.
wait. Is it a Tony Hawk?
No.
Okay. I just had a feeling. Go ahead.
Probably Mario, right?
Nope.
Really?
Grand Theft Auto 5
Of course.
Okay.
and Soul Calibur.
The first one?
The first Soul Calibur?
It appears to be the first one. I just see the
or the sixth one. Like
Does it show what year it came out?
Let me see.
Either. Why the fuck?
Why? Yeah.
Why?
I mean, I know there were different like people, but what? Yeah, the top 5 games of all time. Garfield's Kart, Super Mario Galaxy, Grand Theft Auto 5, The Last of Us, Breath of the Wild. Thank you. If you have any questions, too bad. Like, huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, this list, I was incorrect. These lists are the 8 games scored a perfect 10 by 8 IGN and a perfect 40 by Famitsu.
Okay. That's interesting.
That makes more sense.
This song is from Spirit Tracks.
Cool.
Good song.
And then there's a list of 10 of 10 at both IGN and GameSpot, which is different.
How many?
How many are different?
Like, how many is on that list?
Well, this is from 2 years ago.
Okay.
8.
Wow. Are there any differences?
There's 2 Mario games on here.
Which ones? Wait, Galaxy and
Odyssey or
No,
Mario.
Galaxy 1 and Galaxy 2.
Probably.
Odyssey and Galaxy 2.
Yep.
Huh. Peak.
The other differences are Persona 5 Royal.
Of course.
That's fine, actually.
And Grand Theft Auto 4.
Okay. IGN does actually hand out 10s fairly easily.
I'm trying to see what Soul Calibur it was.
I didn't even recognize this song for a second. This is probably Princess Star, right?
I don't know.
Huh.
I love how...
Are we still recording? Should we say bye?
Yes, we are still recording, and
just for closure, it is Soul Calibur for the Dreamcast, I believe.
Wow!
I mean,
that's the only. Let me make sure. I believe that's the only Soul Calibur I see on this list. Of 10
Why?
Dreamcast had some bangers, but
like even at the time, why?
That is
what was so significantly good about Soul Calibur? Like, I'm not hating on Soul Calibur. I'm just like,
I mean, that's just.
And I'm not
maybe it was very technically impressive at the time, and it had an interesting.
It was,
roster,
but does that give it a 10, bro?
I don't know, man.
Does any fighting game deserve a 10?
Guilty Gear Strive.
I don't think
Dragon Ball
so.
Fighters.
Incorrect.
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Fighters, the Guilty Gear Strive. That's about all I got.
I can tell you flaws with all of those.
Sure, but they're still 10s.
Okay, Smash Ultimate. I can't really argue that.
A 10, believe it or not, 10 doesn't have to be flawless because there's
okay. Guilty Gear Strive, its fucking story mode is bizarrely pathetic, but also impressive in all the wrong ways.
Ransom. I know they're DLC, but this is the game with Happy, Chaos, Brisket, and Asphalt.
No, I love the fighting and the characters. I love all that. I love Strive.
Yes, and that's all that matters.
So it is indeed Soul Calibur for the Dreamcast, and it was rated a 10 out of 10. Well, I mean, I guess either it was rated or it came out in 1999.
Huh.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
You'd have to find the review, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's something I'll do.
Do we want to talk about any more Zelda stuff before we
No,
wrap this up?
I'm gonna stop recording now. Everyone say bye.
Bye. Hope we had fun.
Bye.
Bye.